future. This is The Harrowing, and I'm your host, The Harrow Master. And this is Cheshire Vic, a 17-year-old What? What do you mean she's not 17? What are all these tweets? Alright, fine. This is Cheshire Vic, who is actually a nearly 30-year-old woman, who apparently people think is 17 for some reason. Oh, right. It's because she once joked about it. Huh. Alright. This is Cheshire Vic, an independent artist and a YouTuber with a modest channel. Not that I can talk with, I think at the time of this recording, 6 subscribers. So, whatever. Anyway, I'm here to talk about Cheshire Vic because apparently there was recently a call from a group of dedicated harassers to have her channel reported to YouTube. I have yet to find anything on this channel that would violate the terms of service. Now, granted, I haven't gone through and watched every single video, but I have gone through some of the ones that have been targeted as being quote-unquote controversial. Most of the outrage seems to have occurred around episodes of a show that she calls That Time of the Month, which is apparently a monthly show in which she and 3 other women come talk about various issues, especially issues surrounding women online, which seems like a fair topic of discussion. Well, I reached out about this call for flagging, and I heard back. Now, apparently, there has not actually been any community guideline strikes that have occurred on the channel. It's not clear as to whether or not it has been long enough for that to show up, so this recording is taking place early in the morning on June 1st, and I spoke to her on April 31st, so that may be something that needs to be updated, and if there is an update to be given, it'll be in the description and probably in a pinned comment. So why do I care about this? Well, as someone who does some stuff on YouTube, yeah, I take false flagging, false copyright strikes, false copyright content ID claims, and shit like that pretty damn seriously. As you might have noticed from my first video, which was about the BBC and FTFE and how they were fucking him over. So I don't take kindly to someone being harassed off of YouTube and into making her Twitter account private because of concerted, targeted harassment. Now you might say, oh, is there really targeted harassment? Well, I'll let these tweets speak for themselves. If you really need to read any of them, feel free to pause the video. What impressed me about this list of tweets is that these are screenshots from Cheshire Vic's phone, sent in real time as she was looking at Twitter. So those tags saying, oh, 15 minutes ago, 2 hours ago, yeah, that was what was happening. This was an overview of basically a day-ish of Twitter. There are people who are tweeting about this woman constantly. And what are the main criticisms so far? Let's see. Secondhand smoking? I don't really care. I mean, if you don't think secondhand smoking is a thing, I think you're probably wrong about that, because doctors seem to agree, but whatever. Let's see. Apparently she thinks it's okay to give chocolate to dogs. And she thinks apparently that you should murder toddlers. Those last two actually do seem a little bit weird, so I asked about both specifically. I'll start with the chocolate, just because it's a lot faster. Once, on a stream, while she was drawing, she offhandedly said something to the effect that her dog Puck had once got into a large amount of cocoa powder, and other than being hyperactive, he was fine, and that she had later read that some dogs weren't allergic or something. As it turns out, chocolate is toxic to dogs and most other animals because it contains a chemical called theobromine, which is a methylxanthine. Methylxanthines are, among other things, diuretics and neurostimulants. Caffeine is another example of methylxanthine, and it's one of the reasons why chocolate wakes you up a bit. Humans have an extremely fast metabolism when it comes to methylxanthines as compared to most animals, and dogs have a particularly slow one. Now, What actually happens in dogs is if this builds up to a high enough level, it can build up to toxic levels in a similar way that you can actually die of caffeine poisoning if you're a human and you take very large amounts of caffeine. In fact, it can even happen from chocolate, but you would have to consume an absurd amount of chocolate. But it's also the case that dogs differ from individual to individual in the rate at which they can process theobromine and other methylxanthines. Now I asked, do you give your dog chocolate? The response was no, followed with the caveat that every other month or so, she gives him one Smartie. Now, in case you don't know, because maybe you live in the US, where these aren't available, Smarties are a British candy that is similar to a somewhat large M&M. And so I went ahead and did the math. Asked about how much her dog weighed, and well, I don't remember the exact answer. It was a medium-sized dog, somewhere between 12 to 15 kilograms or so. And Puck ate 1.66 grams of milk chocolate if he ate one of these Smarties. And that is extremely far below the LD50. In fact, that is so low that every single calculator I could find for theobromine toxicity in dogs said that even if you had fed that one Smartie to an extremely small dog, there is no expected symptoms at all. Now, do I think it's a good idea to give her dog a Smartie? I mean, probably not. I wouldn't. But am I going to sit here and say, oh, she's poisoning her dogs and advocating that you feed your dogs Hershey's bars? No, because she's not. One small piece of the weakest kind of chocolate in terms of toxicity for dogs every other month as a tiny treat whenever she has a box of candy is hardly some kind of horrible dog abuse or the advocacy of poisoning dogs inadvertently. Like, that's not what's going on here. Well, that was quick. Now, the murdering toddlers is a little bit more interesting. So, I'm going to play the clip this has been taken from.
I honestly, like, if you want my opinion is a little bit extreme, and I'm not about to argue for it. I don't think this is necessarily what we should do, but I think there's a decent argument to be made, and it's my opinion that you should be able to abort up to about 3 years old. You should be able to end that child's life for multiple reasons. Obviously not because, oh, I just don't want to be a parent anymore. That would obviously be not the case. But in the case of, like, oh, something has happened and this child is no longer going to have a viable life, you should be able to euthanize that child. Because, like, I dropped it. And this child is no longer medically viable for some kind of reasonable reason.
Alright, so let's get some context here. Now, I've linked the original video down in the description, as well as I put it up in the card. Please go check it out if you want to get the context yourself. This little snip that I took starts at about 1 hour, 27 minutes in, so you can just back up a few minutes to try and see what was really going on there. But in case you don't want to do that, or you just want me to summarize, what was going on was a discussion about abortion that started to branch a little bit towards euthanasia. And Cheshire said that there was an argument to be made, and note, as she made very clear to me, and as I think was pretty clear in even the clip I played, she was not saying that this is an argument that she's advocating for. She said there was an argument to be had that conditions which would allow for euthanasia in an adult, such as constant extreme pain during terminal illnesses or brain death and things like that, could reasonably be used as a reason to euthanize a very small child. I don't really have an opinion on that. I haven't thought about it. It doesn't seem absurd on the face of it, but whatever. She also made very clear that she did not think there was an argument that it should be an elective thing. That say, oh, hey, I just don't want this kid anymore. If you want to see that argument, go talk to Peter Singer, who actually does think that you should be able to simply kill your child up to about 3 years old. For whatever reason, including you kinda just felt like it. Cheshire Vic is not Peter Singer. Peter Singer is an animal rights advocate and moral philosopher. Cheshire Vic is not. She's a YouTuber who sometimes has thoughts about moral philosophy. And actually, I had a little discussion about that with her, and I said, I don't think that your reasoning about abortion could stand up, say, in a philosophy paper about moral philosophy. And she agreed, it probably couldn't. And I also said that it seemed like that was probably sufficient for most people as a personal reason to accept abortion. And here's where I'm going to go on a slight abortion rant, and not really about abortion, but about arguments for and against it. Essentially, all of them are really shitty. If you think you have a good reason why you're for or against abortion, I can nearly guarantee you fucking don't. I have looked at every argument I could find on either side, and they all fucking suck. That's why I don't talk about it, because I don't have any good arguments for or against. So, not something I want to cover. I don't even talk about it in my personal life, because again, I don't have any good arguments either way. So, that whole issue can go fuck off. So, what has the reaction to this been? I'm going to start with a quick snippet from a unlisted live stream, which I'm not going to get into why I have access to it. And for some context here, the woman in this live stream is Leslie Bass, a woman for whom Chesh helped run a fundraiser in December 2019 when another YouTuber falsely flagged her channel for community guideline strikes, taking away her ability to stream. And that's one of the reasons I know this is an important issue, because it can actually affect things. Leslie Bass is a mother who depended on her live streams for a significant portion of the income that she used to help feed her kids. So there was a fundraiser. Then, another whole shit show that I'll get into some other time. She decided to completely denounce the people who had helped her out in that live stream. I think inappropriately, but again, that's something for another time. So here's her reaction to that.
What in the actual... I mean, she was like... She said, like, if the baby gets dropped on their head, and then it's no longer, like, a regular baby. Yeah, it's murder. I mean... I can't. So, like, murder is okay. I mean, you gotta, okay, think about if you heard this story. That a baby was born perfectly fine, but 2 months old, started having seizures. By the time the baby was a year old, the baby had so many seizures that it led to the baby becoming handicapped. So at a year old, the mom just decides one day, you know what? I'm just going to shoot him. Or I'm going to euthanize him. I'm going to inject him with poison. What would we say about that mother? Yeah, my thing is, like, Abram had a personality. With all that was not right, he had a personality. He had the cutest sneeze. When Abram sneezed, he would go, ha, 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 achoo. His sneeze was the same from the time he was born. Achoo. He would laugh. He would grunt. You guys heard him grunt. I mean, like, he knew when Flossie was around. Like, he just knew. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just so blown away that someone would think that it would be okay to murder a baby like him just because he's an inconvenience, because he's not going to be a child that eventually one day gets married. And like, and my thing is like, doctors have it so wrong sometimes. Like, there are babies that would be born with issues, and they work and they grow to where they can have a life outside of what doctors said they were gonna have. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't even. I mean, I personally don't agree with assisted suicide. I think I don't know, I don't agree. I don't think you should kill yourself. I don't think that you should have somebody try to kill you. But my thing is, if you are dead set on killing yourself, don't drag somebody else into it and have them commit a crime. You know, I mean, don't do it. Go speak to someone for help. And two, the medical field is improving so much. Like, they're constantly coming out with new medicines, with new technology to assist and to fix certain things, you know. So, I mean, it doesn't mean that a baby, just because a baby is born to be a certain way, it doesn't mean they will be that way forever. You know, just think of, okay, 20 years ago, how advanced technology has become, medicine has become. So there's no, like, if I have a baby today that has such and such issues, there's no telling what could come out by the time that child is 10 or 20, or the parents love their kids regardless of if they can get up and run. It's freaking ridiculous. I can't even. That sends fire through me. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not trying to cause no issues, but I mean, I'm not arguing with her about it. You know, she says she don't want to argue with nobody about it, but she cannot say something like that and think that people are not gonna have strong opinions about it. And I feel like if someone was on the stream with her and this was said and you don't agree with it, just because she said, I'm not going to argue with anyone about it, I feel like it's totally okay. Because I feel like Sweet did not like that. Like the way Sweet has a child, I do believe. And Sweet was just like, whoa, that got serious quick, you know. I feel like it should have been okay for her to speak up and be like, well, you know, I don't agree with that. Let me put that out there. Being on a stream with somebody that says that and not saying, I mean, kind of shaking your head. Or being like the other girl on there and be like, yeah, yes, yeah, of course. Like, and just shaking your head in agreement almost makes it seem like you agree as well. So there has got to be some backlash from this. I know somebody's probably texting me about this. Yeah, let me see. I'm blown away. I can't even.
Alright, so clearly Leslie Bass has taken this out of context. At the very best, all these people who are tweeting, people like Keon O'Reilly, ProLib, UniRach, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that name, and you know what? I don't give a fuck how to pronounce your name. You can go fuck yourself. Because you're all pieces of shit for taking this out of context and then calling for a false flag campaign to flag someone's channel and take away a significant portion of her current income stream, which is unfortunately down as a result of a worldwide fucking pandemic. That is absolute shit tier behavior. And let's get this straight. What crimes has Cheshire committed? Who are her victims? Who can raise their hand and say, Cheshire Vic harmed me or my property? Fucking no one. You don't like what she has to say? Don't fucking go to her channel. I don't know if you know this, but when you log on to YouTube, you type your little keys, youtube.com, no one fucking breaks into your house, straps you down, opens up your eyelids with toothpicks, and forces you to watch Cheshire Vic's channel. Look, I don't agree with everything Cheshire Vic says. I don't always agree with exactly how she says it. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to go make shit up about her. Now, as it happens, I tend to generally like her discussions. So, maybe I'm a little biased there in a way that they're biased in the opposite way. But still, I don't even go to ProLib's channel to pull out random crazy shit that he says in his streams, and you know what? If you want to see some crazy shit, go look at some of his streams about topics like this, where he doesn't provide any context. He doesn't back up any of his statements. And you know what happened when I asked Cheshire Vic for some evidence of what was going on, for some context? She immediately provided it as quickly as she could. Now, it took her a little bit to figure out exactly which video this clip about the whole toddler thing was, because for her, it was just initially some little deviation from the main topic of the video. And it wasn't even something that made a big impression on her after the episode was done. And that's fair, but she still found it for me. She took the time to go through several hours of her content and find me the video and then give me a rough timestamp for it so that I could narrow it down from there. I had to do very little of this. Most of this actually has come straight from Cheshire Vic saying, here are the original tweets, here are the original videos, here is the actual things that's going on. Instead, these people who are harassing her daily, almost constantly, they just do things like insult her and her friends' appearances and lie about their positions, and even lie about positions that they didn't even take, because no, Cheshire Vic didn't actually take a pro-euthanasia for children stance. She said there are arguments to be made in favor. That's it. And as Lizzie Bass said, oh, I would never joke about killing a child. And yeah, okay, Cheshire Vic was a little bit flippant at one section there. But you know what? When humans are having difficult discussions, they use laughter and humor as a way to deflect tension that builds up. That's just a human thing. If you say that that's not okay or inappropriate, you're just being a hypocrite, because I guarantee that you do that same thing. You know how I know? Because you're a human. Now, if you happen to be watching this and you're not, feel free to correct me in the comments, but the very fact that you typed it kind of makes me think that you are. And if you aren't a human and you're typing in the comments, it's probably just to say, good job, love the video, keep it up, because you're just a fucking bot. So anyway, I'm not okay with attempts to get people's channels shut down who have not violated the terms of service. Chesh had threatened anyone. If she had been committing a crime on stream, or she had been espousing extremely racist rhetoric or something, then yeah, sure, report the video. None of that has happened. And I'm hoping that none of it does happen, or that if there are reports that YouTube reviews the videos and then just shuts down the flags, although I don't trust YouTube as far as I can fucking throw it, and since it's just an abstract corporation, that's not very far. Anyway, there's probably going to be more to come surrounding this whole situation, and as you might be able to tell if you've seen my video on cyberbullying and drama, there are some commonalities in the set of people who we're talking about here. So some of this is going to circle back around. Anyway, that's all I have. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, go in the comments. If you didn't like it, I don't know, call me an asshole. I'm not really here to make people like me. This is just where I ran. So